born Taurus Tremonti Bartlett. I really hope I didn't butcher that. Polo G has become one of the biggest artists of this generation. He was raised in one of the roughest neighborhoods in Chicago, and this has heavily influenced his musical style and the type of music he makes. He burst onto the scene with the album Die Legend, which was then followed by The GOAT and Hall of Fame. Some of the biggest rap hits over the last few years have been created by Polo G, including Pop Out, Martin and Gina, and the Billboard topping song Rap Star. Personally, I think when we look back at this generation of rap years from now, Polo G will be seen as one of the biggest artists of this generation. Now, before we start the video, I want you to tell me in the comments what your favorite Polo G song is. Now, let's make a Polo G type beat. Now, before we create our chord progression, let's go into our BPM box right here, right click, and we'll set it to 150. Now, make sure that you have your favorite piano. Mine is this preset from Complete Control called Atmospheric. Okay, so first things first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we're using nothing but white keys. So we're gonna be in the A minor scale. So let's go into C5. So that's A right there. We're gonna increase the size of that. I wanna set my time to grid or snap to grid at half a beat, because that's just much easier to control. Then we're just gonna go down the scale. We're gonna go A, G, and F. Then what we're gonna do with this note here is we're just gonna expand it. Now to create a chord, all you do is you skip a note and then you add another note. So if we skip B, the next note is C. Let's reduce the size of that. If we skip D, the next note is E. Now if we skip G, next note is B. And if we skip B, next note is D. Same thing for F. Skip G, A, and then skip B, C. We'll expand the size of that. Now that we have our chords, what we need to do is make sure that we have bass notes. So we're gonna highlight these bottom notes here. Shift them to the right a little bit, then Command down or Control down. Then we're just gonna do it the second time. Shift them to the right a little bit, then Command down or Control down. Now we have an octave in A4 and A5, A3, A3. Now we'll highlight these bottom notes here. Options or Alt on any of them, and then we'll just drag down. All that will do is, if you can see down here, it's just reducing the velocity. This is what everything sounds like together right now. You see, just by going down the scale, what we're doing is we're creating like emotional chords, and all that's left now is for us to move on to the next step where we'll add our emotional melody. Time for us to create our top melody. Now our top melody goes above the chords. Now the thing is with the chords, all it does is just notes played, stacked above each other, but with the top melody, it's something repetitive that the listener can go like, oh, that sounds nice. We're just gonna use the chords, yeah? So I'm gonna stay in this octave for now. Let's skip, what's after E, the next note is G. So let's do that. We'll go B, then C. We're gonna shift these over to the other side. We'll bring this up to C, down to B, and then down here, bring it down to G. Let's bring this up an octave, and then we'll shift this over to the other side, and then we'll just change some notes up. Okay, so we're gonna leave this first section like that. Then we'll go A, down to E, then down to C. Just to make the last section a little bit more different. And this is what it's gonna sound like. So we have our top melody. All we need to do now is create kind of like melody with our chords. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the slice tool right here, and then we're gonna slice where there's a chord playing or where there's a note playing above. So like, let's say here, there's C playing above. So we're gonna slice on C. There's G playing. So we're gonna slice on G. Here the C playing again, so we're gonna slice on C. Now here we're gonna do something a little bit different. We'll slice on A, and then we'll slice on C again. So that's the top melody we're gonna be using for our beat. A lot of these melodies tend to be in E minor. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna press shift up. This is what the melody sounds like now. We're gonna grab all these top notes here, Command X or Control X, that cuts everything. We're gonna open up another instance of Complete Control, and then we're gonna go into our piano roll, Command V or Control V. That's gonna paste all the notes we've been using. So now we have our melody. All we're gonna do next is we're gonna add our bass. So let's move on to that section. So we're just gonna double click onto our chords, and then we're just gonna copy these notes here by highlighting Command Shift left click or Control Shift left click, Command C, Control C. That's gonna copy the notes. Then we're gonna open up Citrus, free plugin that everyone should have. There's a great bass in here. Then we're gonna go with bass 2. Command V, Control V. and then we're just gonna increase these to maximum velocity just so that it's louder than everything else. So this is what our bass will sound like. Next, we're gonna do our 808. Now our 808 is mostly gonna be in this first area. The bass is not gonna be playing during this hook section. I'm gonna create a new pattern called 808. What I like to do with my 808s is, first of all, I like to trim it. Yeah, just so that there's no dead noise here. Then I like to go to my pre-computed effects. I'll add the boost up by 5%. I'll go to the envelope settings. I'll decrease everything except for the hold. Then I'll go to the miscellaneous functions and I'll just choose cut itself, just so that no notes are running over each other. We're just gonna grab the notes we have here for our bass, Command C, Control C, and then we're just gonna paste them into our 808. We're gonna bring it up an octave, Command up, Control up, because E4 is too low to have your 808 in. And I'm just gonna place them where they'll sound good here. There, here. So now we have this section of the 808, but we need a variation because we can't have the listener just listen to the exact same thing all the time. So Command B or Control B, that's gonna shift everything over to the other section. Now what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna make it a little bit more different. So instead of having D here, you can just duplicate it, Command up or Control up. All that's gonna do is just gonna bring it up an octave. Then here we can have it hit twice. Now we can add a row here at the end. So let's reduce the size of this node here, and then we'll go to half a step on our snap to grid. We'll zoom in. And then you see these little boxes here, yeah? I'll zoom in further just so that you can see them. We'll add one here at the end. We'll add one here. And then we'll add a note here. Command L, Control L. Let's zoom out. Now this is what everything sounds like. That's a beautiful 808 pattern. Next, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add our drums. It's probably the most important step because what we'll be doing is we'll be creating our bounce. Now I'm gonna do some quick sound design with you. What I like to do when I open up these sounds. So this is my snare. What I like to do is I just like to turn the trim up 100%. This is our perk. I'll do the exact same thing. I'll turn the trim up 100%. This is our open hat. I'll turn the trim up. I'll go to the pre-computed effects, and then I'll just put the stereo delay 5%. It adds like a chorusy effect, which I really like. This is our hi-hat. I'll do the exact same thing, just turn the trim up. And then I'll go to this EQ and I'll bring it to the left 5%. Or maybe even, yeah, to the left 5%. Now this is our clap. What I'll do is I'll bring the trim up, and that's it. Start with our clap. We'll add it on the 3 and the 7. If you don't know basic hip-hop terms, you count 3 and 7, and that's where you add your clap. So you count 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so there. And there. This is where you always add your clap. Next, we'll add a hi-hat. So basically what we'll do is we'll choose fill each 2 steps, and all this does is that it adds a 1-2 1-2 step pattern. And then we'll go into our hi-hat, press Shift B to grab the brush tool. I will just add our rows here. We'll add a mini row there, add a row here, add a row here, add a row there. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. Next, we'll just add our open hat where the 808 hits, here and here, the first hits. Next, we'll add a perk or a rim shot, and then we'll just add it at the end of every single section. So we'll just go in here, zoom in, and then we'll just add our perk right over here. And then last will be a snare. We want to have that t-t effect. So this is what all the drum sounds sound like together. Okay, so let me do some quick mixing and then I'll show you the final beat. Give me a second. Okay, so this is the beat.
Muzi with the Uzi, yo.
Yeah, so I just want to say thank you very much for watching. This has been a bit of a different video. It's longer than most of my other videos. So if you made it to the end, I guess you're a legend. If you enjoyed this video, I have more FL Studio tutorials. Some more will pop up right in front of my face, so you can click on those. I'll see you in the next video.